gym. Was there any conversation around that at all?
Nah, even if it was, I don't even speak on, what other people got going on, I would love to fight.
During the week, Shakur Stevenson had Eddie Hearn, Terence Crawford, and Floyd Mayweather watch him spar. What he didn't expect, however, was an argument that broke out between Mayweather and Crawford after the session. The two were ringside in the gym as Stevenson trained for his upcoming fight on February 22nd against Floyd Schofield. Speaking to Fight Hype, Stevenson said about the gathering in the gym, "Man, I don't know how they were all there. I feel like I need an extra check for that. I'm always setting up these plays but don't always get the credit I deserve. Still, I put together a nice little play and had everybody pull up to the gym. I appreciate those guys for showing up and supporting me. I just try to take the knowledge and advice they give me and soak it all in." Mayweather had previously tried to sign Stevenson but lost out to Hearn and Matchroom.
Hold me back!
While Hearn and Floyd Mayweather were able to put their rivalry aside to joke and talk with each other, Mayweather and Terence Crawford saw their friendship take a turn for the worse. This year is shaping up to be a big one for Stevenson, but he needs to deliver an impressive performance next month. As for Crawford and Mayweather, despite initially appearing friendly at the gym, they soon got into a brief argument after Crawford stated he had no doubt he would defeat Mayweather.
In the gym that day?
Nah, it just was talking about like my boxing. It wasn't nothing about no Kid Austin or the fight that I got coming up. It was more so just watching my...
What initially brought them together was Shakur Stevenson's training methods. People don't realize how intensely Shakur trains, but Hearn's comments offer a small glimpse into his mindset. Going without rest breaks and sleep is sometimes just part of life for top-level world championship boxers, as they'll tell you.
Yeah, what was, so I mean, look, it ain't the first time you've been around Floyd. It ain't the first time you've been around any of those guys. But, that day, especially with you having this fight, and, a lot of people saying that maybe Kid Austin isn't ready for you. What kind of talk? What was the conversation like in the gym that day?
Nah, it just was talking about like my boxing. It wasn't nothing about no Kid Austin or...
Knowing when to fight, when to train, and when to rest is key. Hearn spoke to IFL about what he saw from Stevenson in the gym this week, saying, "What I love about being in environments like that is seeing the love for the sport." Last night, Terence was watching Shakur Stevenson spar. Shakur did 14 4-minute rounds with 30-second breaks. Terence and Floyd watched the entire session, then went to another ring to watch Ray Ford spar. Floyd loves boxing. Terence loves boxing. He's passionate about the sport, enjoys watching young fighters, giving advice, and seeing people from his community succeed. It was pretty cool. 14 4-minute rounds with 30-second breaks and little rest is no joke. That's tough for anyone sparring with Stevenson. Last year, Stevenson suffered a severely busted hand that even landed him in a hospital bed. This year is expected to be big for him, with his next fight set for February 22nd on one of the best cards in boxing.
So if he was pound for pound, Floyd was pound for pound. You or Floyd, who would have done that? Who would have won that?
Me.
Oh, shit, okay, I'm just asking.
However, Crawford claimed he would win a fight against Floyd Mayweather if they ever faced off while the undefeated boxing legend was still active. The switch hitter from Omaha, Nebraska, is a 4-weight world champion with 31 stoppages to his name. He most recently captured the WBA world title at super welterweight with a decision win over Israel Madrio, marking the 4th division in which he has won belts. Crawford has also been undisputed in 2 divisions, one of only 3 men to achieve that in the 4-belt era. As Crawford continues to build his case as the best of his generation, fans are debating how he measures up against the all-time greats. One intriguing fantasy matchup is against the last dominant American, Floyd Mayweather.
Didn't mention the fight, didn't say anything. You didn't talk to him about it. Floyd, sorry. Not a peep.
Not a word.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Eddie "Money" Mayweather famously retired undefeated in 2017 as one of the most lucrative stars the sport has ever seen. The defensive master defeated the likes of Canelo Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao, Shane Mosley, and Oscar de la Hoya. Would Crawford be on that list if the two had ever crossed paths? When asked on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast how he would fare against Mayweather, Crawford didn't hesitate to back himself, me versus anybody. Crawford's trainer, Brian "Bomac" McIntyre, shares the same belief, though he admits he's biased. There are 2 things. For one, Crawford is like my son, so I'm always going to go with him. Terence has that dog in him. He didn't get to where he is now overnight. It's taken years and years.
Pound before.
That would have been a hard fucking fight, though.
Man, me versus anybody, I'm gonna always say me.
Okay.
Come on.
But if you put Bud in there in his prime with Mayweather in his prime, then of course Mayweather is going to be the smarter one. But I think Bud will have more dog in him. Whether or not Bud could break down the famed defenses of Mayweather will always be debated. The more realistic matchup for him right now is the fight between Floyd Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez when they face off in September. Shakur Stevenson believes Terence Crawford will defeat Canelo Alvarez and could make it a very easy fight. Stevenson, the WBC lightweight champion, claims he's been saying for years that Crawford will beat Canelo.
Canelo and obviously your good friend, mentor, Terence Crawford. A lot of people a few years ago would have said that's crazy, but I think everybody, when they see the talent of Terence Crawford, forgetting...
Crawford, the World Boxing Association champion in the 154 pounds light middleweight division, has promised to put on 14 pounds to compete in the highly anticipated bout, which would likely be the highest paying day of his career. Stevenson was confident in his response when asked if he believes Crawford will win that matchup. I've been saying this for years now. I'm probably the first one that has been saying this even before Terence was saying this. I always thought that his style versus Canelo, I think he beats Canelo, said Shakur Stevenson to Talk Sport Boxing. Stevenson makes it seem like Terence Crawford will stand toe-to-toe and trade blows with Canelo Alvarez in September. However, that scenario seems unlikely given Crawford's usual approach when facing powerful punchers.
Special fighter, pound for pound, I think many will say #1 in the world, alongside the likes of people like yourself and that great list that we've got at the minute. You see the man.
He typically relies on movement, utilizing his jab and leaping in to land shots before quickly repositioning. Crawford doesn't stay stationary or engage in relentless attacks. His aggressive performance against Errol Spence was more of an exception, largely because Spence wasn't at his best following his car accident. It would be a little over a year, 13 months, since that fight. You've got to be very careful if you're going to take a fight above 160 pounds because it's a new weight range, said Chris Mannix on his YouTube channel about Terence Crawford taking a tune-up fight. It seems unlikely that Crawford will take the risk of a tune-up bout against a super middleweight before facing Canelo Alvarez in September.
Yes, honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terence Crawford. I don't know nobody who...
If Crawford does compete in the weight class, it would probably be at a catch weight, potentially around 163 or 164 pounds, against a middleweight moving up. Possible opponents could include Aaron McKenna, Liam Smith, Austin Williams, or Kyrone Davis, fighters who pose minimal threat to Crawford and are ranked lower in the middleweight division. Another debate that'll keep being a topic in the boxing world is the greatest of all-time debate, with many disagreeing. Roy Jones Jr. and Floyd Mayweather Jr. are two boxing legends who have left an indelible mark on the sport, both widely regarded as the best pound-for-pound fighters of their respective eras, sparking endless debates about who truly deserves the title of greatest of all time.
Respect the Floyd 50-0, or is it like...
You gotta respect anything a person does if they're undefeated that long. So I respect it to a degree, yeah. Is it a 50-0 that I think, oh, he the greatest fighter of all time? Nah.
Mayweather, with his perfect 50-0 record, is considered by many to be the greatest pound-for-pound boxer in history. His impenetrable defense and ability to control the pace of a fight made him a unique spectacle. Additionally, his career was marked by extraordinary commercial success, with 4 of the 5 highest-grossing pay-per-view events in boxing history. However, Roy Jones Jr., an undisputed champion across 4 weight classes, holds a different opinion. In an interview with Real Life Productions, when asked if he considered Mayweather the GOAT, Jones Jr. gave a simple but emphatic response: "No, slick but punishing." Jones was the first man in over a century to win a middleweight world title and go on to do the same at heavyweight. He held top honors in 4 divisions throughout his storied career, beating the likes of James Toney, Bernard Hopkins, and Antonio Tarver with an endlessly watchable style.
Shabby was 80-0 at one point. 80. He could have retired at 80-0. You go ever top that? No. He just didn't stop, right? You got to 50 and you stopped because of Rocky Marciano.
Right.
So Rocky died.
Mayweather famously finished his campaign with a perfect 50-0 record, holding belts in 5 divisions and dazzling with a defense widely considered the best in the business. He was also one of the most lucrative stars the sport has seen, claiming 4 of the top 5 biggest-selling pay-per-view events. Speaking to Real Life Productions, Jones Jr. was asked if Money Mayweather's record meant he was the greatest of all time. He said no. Elaborating, Jones said there were more impressive campaigns out there. You have to respect anything a person does to stay undefeated that long. I respect it to a degree, yeah. Is it 50 that makes me think he's the greatest fighter of all time? Nah. Julio Cesar Chavez went 80-0 at one point, 80. Are you going to ever top that? No. He just didn't stop. Floyd got to 50-0 and stopped because of Rocky Marciano. Rocky died. If he wouldn't have died, he probably would have kept going too.
Going too. So that's, and then at the end, you fight a guy that's 0-0 for number 50. How can I respect it? Yeah. You feel me? So, I mean, I love Floyd, don't get it wrong, I'm not hating on Floyd, but come on, bro, you fight a guy that's 0-0, Conor McGregor was 0-0, and they let you do that?
Jones then took issue in particular with Mayweather's farewell bout, a 10th round stoppage of UFC superstar Conor McGregor in his boxing debut. In the end, the debate over who is the GOAT will likely continue, fueled by the unique accomplishments and philosophies of these two icons of the sport. What was even more interesting was that after Mayweather and Crawford met, Eddie Hearn was also at the training camp to support Shakur Stevenson, turning it into a small gathering of some of the biggest names in boxing. They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but in today's world, with so many witnesses, especially when celebrities are involved, it's hard to keep anything secret. And when you add the name Floyd Mayweather into the mix, it becomes impossible to hide. A recent meeting between Money and famous promoter Eddie Hearn at a gym in Sin City sparks, and although the moment was filled with jocular comments, that doesn't mean they weren't throwing shots at each other.
I'm gonna tell you why I like Eddie. So one day somebody asked you, because you know I don't have social media on my phone. Yeah. So they showed me Eddie. Eddie was like, Floyd Mayweather ain't got no.
It should be remembered that Hearn had repeatedly claimed in various interviews that Floyd Mayweather didn't have the money he said he did, suggesting this was the reason he kept performing or seeking exhibition fights. Mayweather earned an enormous amount during his stellar boxing career, pocketing over $1.2 billion in total earnings, including massive paydays from bouts against Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor. Widespread reports indicate that Mayweather's current net worth is around $400 million, which has enabled him to maintain an extravagant lifestyle outside the ring. Despite retiring from the professional ranks in 2017, Mayweather has continued to compete in lucrative exhibitions against lesser opposition, including Deji and Logan Paul.
Why he doing exhibitions? No, Eddie don't believe that now.
Yeah. But Eddie will say some shit like that now.
Eddie will say some shit, but one thing.
The boxing legend has repeatedly insisted he is earning 8-figure paydays from each event, even going so far as to nickname them legalized bank robberies. However, when explaining why he continues to accept these showman-style events, he claimed it was to build generational wealth. Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn suggested in multiple interviews that Mayweather's net worth isn't as high as many believe, citing his lavish spending. He said, "I don't think he's got the money," he says, "that's what I think. I don't think he needs the money, but you know, when you've got that lifestyle, when he's spending what he's spending."
But me and Eddie got it clear, didn't we, Eddie? Yeah. One thing, me and my buddy got it clear.
We said as long as it's 10 or 20, no problem. Anything less.
The climax came when Money ran into Hearn in Las Vegas and confronted him about the comments. The undefeated former boxer claimed that Hearn sometimes says those kinds of things, and that they had already cleared it up. They began joking as if the news had been real, exchanging playful jabs while their respective groups of friends laughed and celebrated the back and forth. The pair crossed paths in a Las Vegas boxing gym while watching some sparring, as both were in town for the fight between Diego Pacheco and Steve Nelson. Mayweather jokingly began the conversation, saying, "So one day somebody said, 'cause you know I don't have social media on my phone, so they showed me Eddie.'"
Can't be less than 10. Because then we're struggling for money.
I had to show Eddie some of the accounts.
Eddie was like, "Floyd Mayweather Jr. ain't got no money, that's why he is doing exhibitions." Eddie doesn't believe that. "I know he says stuff like that, but me and Eddie got it clear." Mayweather had a smug grin across his face, as did Hearn, and the pair then shook hands. The promoter responded, "Yeah, as long as it is 10 or 20, there is no problem. Anything less, it can't be less than 10. The gag sent Mayweather bursting out laughing with a member of his team, making it abundantly clear there were no hard feelings.
Imagine how much money Floyd Mayweather would have made if I was his promoter back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Mayweather Jr. mentioned that he had even shown his bank accounts to Hearn. Mayweather then clarified, "Listen, I had to show Eddie some of my accounts." Hearn concluded, "Imagine how much Floyd Mayweather would have made if I was his promoter, you know what I'm saying." Mayweather is clearly not short of cash, and it's no surprise given his spending spree in recent months. The boxing legend has invested heavily in real estate, including his biggest ever purchase, $42 million spent on a series of apartment blocks.
Hold me back.
They say that many a true word is spoken in jest, but in the light of the facts, this doesn't apply to Money, who remains one of the richest former sportsmen in the world. It is currently unclear if he has any more exhibitions lined up, but he continues to be linked to lucrative return bouts. Hearn never promoted Mayweather, but likely wishes he had, given the American star power. His pay-per-view events against Pacquiao in 2015 and McGregor in 2017 remain the two biggest earning fights in the modern era.
When I come and do an exhibition or come out and box and have some fun, I do it because I want to do it, not because I have.
However, despite making an absurd amount of money throughout his professional boxing career, which lasted over 20 years, stories have surfaced over the years about Mayweather not being so smart with his finances. Even in the build-up to his huge fight against Conor McGregor in 2017, the Irishman insinuated that the undefeated former boxing world champion had tax issues. Despite being by far the richest fighter in boxing history, Floyd Mayweather's wealth following the end of his professional career has come into question, with Eddie Hearn openly raising doubts about it.
I mean, I think that Mayweather was unquestionably one of the best ever. But I don't know.
In a recent interview with GRM Daily, Hearn questioned Money Mayweather's wealth, saying he doesn't believe the 50-0 fighter has as much money as he claims. "I don't think he's got the money," he says, "that's what I think. I don't think he needs the money, but you know, when you've got that lifestyle, when he's spending what he's spending." In response, Floyd Mayweather posted a new video on his Instagram, boasting more than usual in an effort to fire back at Hearn and prove his claims false.
It's difficult to say he's not a true fighter because he fought everybody he could of his era. But he was a different kind of skill set, you know. He was very much hit and don't get hit, which is the art of boxing.
In the video, Mayweather was presented with a check and intentionally announced the amount, saying, "You know what we do." The one and only Floyd "Money" Mayweather, CEO of Zeus, "I appreciate you. You guys always do great business. That's 6 zeros. It's not bad. It's a deal. I appreciate it."
See you again, man.
Come on, man. What's going on?
The Money Man is back, you know?
You know what we do. The one and only Floyd Money Mayweather, CEO of Zeus Living. I want to say I appreciate you. You guys always do great business.
Thank
and
you.
of course,
You know, we
if I'm the money man, they gotta have some fun.
He then appeared in another interview where he trolled Eddie Hearn, saying, "When I come and do an exhibition, it's because I love the sport and I feel like it." Floyd Mayweather is known throughout the combat sports world as the biggest moneymaker in boxing history. Mayweather, 47, enjoyed a perfect professional boxing career and retired with an unprecedented 50-0 record, becoming by far the biggest draw in the sport and generating billions of dollars in revenue across his 50-fight career.
I think sometimes when these guys carry on and they do the exhibitions and all that kind of stuff, it just sort of diminishes the legacy a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's what I feel like's happened with Mayweather.
Hearn's comments certainly hold weight, as throughout his career, Mayweather has often been seen bragging and publicly displaying his wealth in businesses. However, he has also been accused in the past of not being very smart with his money. Despite ending his professional boxing career with a massive payday in one of the biggest fights in the sport's history against former two-division UFC champion Conor McGregor, Mayweather continues to participate in exhibition bouts. That's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and action in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on quality content like this. Until next time, peace out.